was always told when I was a youth that it was really special to be a Jewish athlete, that there weren't very many of us. And seeing that board out in front with all the Jewish athletes, there were quite a few that I really didn't realize how many there were. And I think the Hall of Fame here has done a great job of promoting that and bringing a lot of that out. Personally, I didn't have a lot of other Jewish friends that played sports. I played in high school. I went to school and I signed with the Angels. Didn't really encounter a lot of Jewish ball players. At one point, I played with Jesse Levis, who was a catcher with the Indians. We played in AAA together, and we were a Jewish battery. It's kind of cool. But I think now, working with the World Baseball Classic Club, there's a lot of Jewish athletes out there, a lot of Jewish ball players, and I think we're doing a good job of kind of promoting it and getting a lot of that out there and seeing who's out there, and it's just growing a lot.
Thank you. Now it is my honor and pleasure to introduce the Hall of Fame recipients for 2017. I'm going to announce them one by one, alphabetical order, and to thunderous applause, I assume. First, for the sport of football, Eric Affolter. For water polo, Andy Bailey. From the media, Glenn Diamond. Basketball, Andy Hill. Tennis, Stephen Kuchel. Baseball, Andrew Lorraine. And winning the award for the person that flew the furthest to come to this event, she flew here yesterday from Israel. For swimming, Andy Murez. Football, Jeff Schwartz. Also for football, Mitchell Schwartz. Softball, Ramona Shelburne. Media, Mark Stein. Gymnastics, Stan Tarshis. And the Eli Sherman Pillar of Achievement for Jerry Weinstein. We are fortunate to once again have Roy Firestone as our MC. He's a 7-time Emmy Award winner. He's so accomplished as a broadcaster, interviewer, author, and performer, I could literally stand up here for 15 minutes with an introduction. He has interviewed more than 5,000 athletes on his TV show, and Sports Illustrated aptly described him as the best interviewer in the business. He currently hosts Up Close Classic, which is broadcast daily on ESPN. And Roy has also authored 2 best-selling books, Up Close with Roy Firestone, and it just happens to be here, most recently, Don't Make Me Cry, Roy. And last but not least, he's a member of our Hall of Fame. His incredible service to our organization includes allowing himself to be auctioned off in the live auction. That's right, Lunch with Roy for the highest bidder. Ladies and gentlemen, Roy Firestone.
Thank you, Mitch. Good evening, everybody. How are we doing tonight? Everyone okay? Great. Before I start, I want to get, this is not just something to get out of the way, but something that's very crucial to us. We have a trophy girl tonight. You know, you talk about trophy wives. This is a trophy girl. But maybe in some ways even more impactful, because without Charlotte F. Halter, we wouldn't have anyone to hand out the trophies. Give her a nice round of applause to start here. Thank you. Okay. Let me take an opportunity, first of all, to acknowledge all the wonderful people who helped be part of this evening tonight. They work very hard at this. This is an event that is viewed in many circles as truly what it is, a great, great honor, not just in Southern California, but really for the nation. So how about a nice round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for all the folks who put this great evening together. Invariably, people ask me, you know, I did and continue to do interviews, but not with the regularity I once did, but I did 5,000 interviews at ESPN mostly, and USA Network before that. People always ask me, who is my most unforgettable guest? I had it again tonight. Let me give you a couple of quick stories. First of all, one of the most remarkable people, we have a lot of basketball people here tonight. By the way, Jamal Wilkes is in our house tonight. Jamal? Mike Warren is here. Mike Warren. Is Lucius here? Do we know if Lucius is here? Okay, but Lucius was supposed to come. Great basketball people. We have reporters. We have players. But to me, I had the great honor of interviewing people like Wilt Chamberlain, and these guys were all remarkable because they weren't just 7 feet tall. They were 7 feet tall in personalities. Let me tell you about one of my all-time favorites. And I know Ramona and Mark, who are being honored tonight, know him very well. Give it up for Shaquille O'Neal, first of all, to start us off. Now, this is a true story. I interviewed Shaquille O'Neal the night the Lakers were defeated for the NBA title. In other words, you mostly interview these guys when they're doing great and they win. But I had to interview Shaq when the night the Pistons beat the Lakers. And he was not in a good mood. And I walk up to him. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, the Palace of Auburn Hills. And they always make you do that stupid, how do you feel about losing thing. I hate that. What's he supposed to say? So sure enough, they make me do that. So I said, Shaq, obviously you're disappointed. Obviously, you know, you feel sad tonight because you lost. But can you give me some part of your emotional state right now? Well, I'm a little pissed off. So here was my brilliant comeback follow-up question. How pissed off are you? Shaq looks at me. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. He goes, to the highest level of passivity. I mean, you ask a stupid question, right? Then I had Shaq. This guy, I mean, Ramon and Mark, you guys know this. The most unbelievably unlikely quote machine. He really was, because when he first came out of LSU, he could barely even put a whole conversation together. So, the Lakers lose the championship, but then they go on, the players in the NBA, to the Olympics. And Shaq is part of the United States Olympic team that wins the gold medal in Athens. I said, Shaq, when you were in Athens winning the gold medal, did you have a chance to visit the Parthenon? Shaq looks at me, I swear to you, and he goes, we went to a lot of clubs. I can't remember all the names. But my all-time favorite Shaq story, and again, Ramona and Mark particularly know this, Shaq and Kobe did not like each other for most of their reign in L.A., and they won a bunch of titles. But they didn't. Styles were different. So I said, Shaq, can you tell me the difference between your personality and Kobe's personality? Shaq looks at me and he goes, that's easy. Kobe is a loner. Me, I'm a socialist. That was Shaquille O'Neal right there.
As a kid growing up here in the San Fernando Valley and in Southern California, sports in Southern California plays such a big part of my life, my brother's lives, and we were able to intertwine that with our education, whether it be our education in school or our Jewish education. Our father asked all three of us that one of the most important things in his life was to have his three sons bar mitzvah. And the fact that we were all able to achieve that when a lot of times we wanted to go to baseball practice or play in our Little League games or go to the Dodger game or things like that, and we were able to be successful to enjoy our sports life and have a Jewish education.
Mark Stein is here. Ramon is here. There's a lot of great reporters who know the NBA beat. They try to get you to do stuff sometimes, not just ESPN, all of them, Fox. Do something about diversity in the NBA. Okay. So I go to the Houston Rockets basketball team, and I wanted to do something about the fact that there were like 11 players, most of them from different countries completely different countries. So I went first to a guy, two players, that were completely different, yet it was diverse, and yet they played together in harmony for the team. So the first guy I go to is soft-spoken and cultured, spoke 5 languages, attended fine schools in Paris, came from a graceful background where he learned he's very religious and graceful and thoughtful and reflective. Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. Wonderful guy. Then I wanted to go somebody completely different on the same team. So I went to Charles Barkley. Okay, so here it is. Swear to God, first question I asked these guys. Hakeem and Charles, I know you come from different walks of life, but I want to get your view of faith for a moment. Gentlemen, do you believe you're going to heaven? Olajuwon had this beautiful Lagos Nigerian voice. Well, I believe that my service to God is pure and consistent, and it comes from the spirit of my heart and the giving for all of mankind. Yes, I do believe I shall go to heaven. I said, very nicely said, Hakeem. How about you, Charles? Are you going to heaven? He goes, I don't know, but it's definitely going to be a close vote. Look at this guy on Fox now, Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe. You know Shannon Sharpe? Nice hand for Shannon Sharpe while we are. Yeah, go ahead. He's a real character. Now, by his own admission, he went to Savannah State University. Last time I looked, there weren't a lot of Nobel Prize winners coming out of there, okay? I said, Shannon, based on your academic career, would you say you graduated to the level of magna cum laude? He goes, Roy, the fact that I even graduated is thank you, laude. Now, I've often found that coaches, especially under duress, can teach you a lot. We have some football players here. You know what the great coaches are like. But under duress, when coaches have pressure on them, you really get to hear their true colors. So we had this coach come on my show named Abe Lemons. Some of you might remember him as a basketball coach. There's Abe. Abe gets a technical foul called on him one night. He knows that if he gets the second technical foul, he's ejected from the game. So he has one. He doesn't want to get a second. Here's the creative way that Abe Lemon got his point across with the referee without offending the referee directly. He says, hey, referee, come over here for a second. Listen, I got one technical foul. I cannot afford to get a second technical foul. But let me ask you this, ref. I'm going to try to be diplomatic about this. Would you give me a second technical foul for something I'm just thinking? Referee says, I can't give you a technical foul for something you're thinking. He goes, good, I'm thinking you're son of a bitch. I'll tell you right now. I cleaned it up for you, too, by the way. And then, of course, people say, well, who is the most bizarre? Who is the most offbeat? Just out and out. You know, if there were 100 colors, he would be 104. He'd be, you know. It's this guy right here. You know who I'm talking about, right there. Come on. Mike Tyson. Remember the first time you heard Mike Tyson speak? And you swore there was something wrong with the audio on the TV. Remember that? Honey, there's no way that voice and that body go together. It's like one of these, a left, a right, another left, and another right. There's a new heavyweight champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson.
Oh, my God, I feel powerful. I feel extraordinary. I don't know what to say. I hit him with a left hand, a right hand. He went down like a sack of potatoes. I swear to God, I don't know.
I went to Mike Tyson's 5th professional fight. I'm sitting at ringside, no further than this gentleman here. I mean 5 feet from the ring. Before the opening bell, Mike Tyson leans into his opponent's eyes, and he says, tonight, I'm going to beat the crap out of you. And his opponent looked right back at him and said, I know. I thought about this. In a different line of work, what would it be like if Mike Tyson had his own TV show? Or even something really far out like this.
Neil deGrasse Tyson is one of the world's preeminent astrophysicists and host of the acclaimed Cosmos series. But what if Neil Tyson's brother was Mike Tyson? He was the host of Cosmos.
The Earth took a hell of a beating in its first billion years. Not unlike the beating I once gave Bone Crusher Smith. Fragments of orbiting debris colliding and coalescing until they snowballed to form our moon. The universe is in us. Many people look at the sky and they feel small, but I feel big because my atoms come from those stars. The reality of nature is far more wondrous than anything we can imagine. Can I tell you something? The entire universe emerged from a point smaller than a single atom. Space itself exploded in a cosmic fire, launching the expansion of the universe and giving birth to all energy and all the matter we know today. Knowing where you came from is no less important than knowing where you're going. This intergalactic miracle speaks to the fact that we are part of the universe. And indeed, the universe is in us. That's the Mike Tyson Cosmos.
That's a special you'll see on Discovery this year. Mike Tyson's Cosmos. What do you think, right? Well, then it's time for the greatest of all time. To me, the greatest athlete I've ever been around. We just lost him last year. Give it up for the great Muhammad Ali. Come on. And the greatest broadcaster of our time, who happens to be one of Alain's men too, Howard Cosell. Give it up for Howard Cosell. Now, there's never been any tandem in sports like it, Cosell and Ali. And if today they were together, they would have their own rap record out. Here's the way Cosell and Ali would do a rap record, like this. Hello, everybody. I'm Howard Cosell. Without further ado, there's the opening bell. We're here today to view and observe a three-time champ with a hell of a nerve. He fought all comers with speed and savvy, though in later years, he got kind of flabby. Ladies and gentlemen, Muhammad Ali.
Howard Cosell, I hear what you say. You're full of hot air, you got a bad toupee. I fought with style, I fought with class. You ain't nothing but a pain in my ass.
There it is, Howard Cosell and Muhammad Ali right there.
I covered an event one time when somebody, I forget who was being inducted, but I was invited to it, and then I covered it. So I've actually been to 2 of these so far, and I was very excited about it. But part of it was Randy Rosenblum was one of the guys who gave me my first job in this business, and Randy had always talked about it, and he said he was in, and on and on. And I was, one day, Randy, I'll make it in, and so I guess this is the day.
I want to give you a quick story about Ali before we give our honorees tonight. And it's a true story. And it's the best story. When I was 22 years old, about, I guess, 4 or 5 years ago, I had the great honor of having him as my first interview. And you could tell this is a real photo because you can't Photoshop hair like that. That's, by the way, his daughter, May May, who is quite a person in her own right, that he's holding right there. Ali loved the elderly, and he loved little kids like nobody's business. He was the most charming person I've ever been around, in sports probably or anything else. And we were doing, in this Miami Beach moment, this is my first job, day one of my job. We were doing a tour of a nursing home in South Beach, Florida. Ali had just beaten Joe Frazier to win the heavyweight championship of the world. And he goes into this nursing home. There's about 700 elderly people. In one room, there's about 100 people who are the age of 90 and above. And Ali walks in the room. I'm the greatest. Can't nobody whoop me. I'm the greatest of all time. What is my name? Now, these folks were terrified. They had no idea what the hell this was. Finally, an old Jewish lady in the front goes, aren't you Clay? I went, oh, God, this is what we... He goes to another room. Now he's really getting fired up. I'm the greatest. Can't nobody... I just beat Joe Frazier. I'm still great. I'm the greatest. And he sees there's an old black man in a wheelchair, probably 96, 97 years old. Ali takes a knee. He says to this old man, hey, old man, I know you're old, but you know who I am. What is my name? Nothing. No reaction. Ali tries it again. Hey, old man, do you know who I am? Come on, tell everybody who I am. Nothing. To such a point, everybody in the room took the cameras and the microphones, and we started walking away. This man was 97, didn't hear well, didn't see well. Then I saw an amazing thing happen. Like a light bulb went over in this guy's brain. This old man took this wheelchair that he was in, and he turned it over to Ali. And he spoke. Hey. What? Hey. Hey, what? I know who you are. You know who I am? Yes, I do. You're the champ. Can't nobody beat the champ. Can't nobody be better than the champ. You know, my whole life I waited just to meet the champ, and my dream come true. Because in my mind, in the whole world mind, nobody better than the champ. Now, I'm telling you, everybody in this room had tears in their eyes for this old man and for Ali. Ali is moved. He takes a knee again. You're right. You're right. I am the champ. And now tell everybody in this room, what is my name? The old man looked up and said, Joe Louis. What happened after this tells you everything you need to know about Ali. And also, everything you need to know about a champ. Members of Ali's entourage started to correct this gentleman. Hey, old man, don't you know that ain't Joe Louis? And Ali stopped them.
What are you doing? But he said your name was Joe. I said, I know what he said. I could hear. Come over here for a second. This man looked into the eyes of those 6 members of his entourage, and he said this, and I'll never forget it. He said, don't you ever correct an old man. Don't you ever take a man's dignity away. And whatever you do, you heard what he said about his dream come true? Don't you ever take away a man's dream. In his mind, the only champ that mattered to him was what he said. It was Joe Louis. Well, I want to say something to you tonight. I want you to listen to me good. Tonight, my name is Joe Louis. There it was. There it was in a moment I could have never found on some sports page. I could have never seen in an interview. This man was telling us what truly makes a champion. An ability to uplift another human being. That's it. Uplift somebody. Uplift somebody in your community, in your place of worship, in your own home. Uplift yourself if you have to, but uplift somebody like he did his entire career. For the downtrodden, for the forgotten. This man understood what Arthur Ashe said. That which you earn makes you a living, but that which you give makes you a life. Or somebody who preceded Arthur Ashe by 50 years, George Washington Carver, who put it this way. He said, how far all of you go in your lives depend upon your ability to be tender with the young and compassionate with the aged, intolerant of the weak and the strong, and those who strive, because someday in your life you'll have been all of those things. That's why this man still, to me, truly is the greatest of all time. You know, I wanted to show one more picture, Gary, if you can show it too. That picture of Ali at the fundraiser, if you can get that real quick up. This picture was taken, I guess, 5 or 6 years ago. Believe me, I'm not beating my horn here at all, or my drum, or whatever you want to call it. I was honored to be on that stage with Reba McEntire and Josh Groban and Forrest Whitaker. And Ali, by his own presence, raised $15 million in 20 minutes for Parkinson's. That, my friends, is a great human being. Well, I have a little bit of laryngitis tonight. Forgive me for that. But I would like to do my little annual poem about the greatest Jewish athletes of all time. Before we start with our honorees tonight, this was a piece we put together last year, and we've updated it somewhat. It goes like this. Here's a subject rarely mentioned, even by the well-intentioned. Hardly ever makes the evening news. In TV sports and all we read, jocks of every race and creed. But what about the fine athletic Jews? Lots of older folks recall when Sandy Koufax had it all. The Dodgers' Jewish legend will endure. Record-smashing perfect gamer, mighty Hebrew Hall of Famer, still refused to pitch on Yom Kippur. Speaking of a superhuman, how about that old Paul Newman acting up a storm in racing cars? Here's Olympic great Mark Spitz, gave the other swimmers fits, and Kerry Strug amazed us on the bars. It was later Sasha Cohen got those Jewish juices flowing, looking mighty hot out on the ice. Dara Torres in the water, medals of all sorts they brought her. 12 Olympic ribbons, must be nice. For well-known celebrities, from Maine to Hebrides, are not the only players in their time. Here are some not quite so famous. Nonetheless, they'll never shame us, though they're drinking all the Manischewitz wine. Baseball has a fair percent of chosen folks I now present. Lieberthal, Schoenweiss played ball.
Hank Greenberg had precision, and he had a circumcision, and we know he's really rightly in the hall. Boxing seems to have a bunch of landsmen who can throw a punch, from heavy-duty sluggers down to punks. Once there even was a pair, Benny Leonard and Max Baer. They both wore Stars of David on their trunks. You can find them on the gridiron. Might as well just call it Yidiron. They're on every team at all the major ports. From Jay Fiedler to Al Zato, that half-Jewish white tornado, and Jeff and Mitch, the brothers we call Schwartz. As for running, few are faster than our speedy Dina Castor in the long distance and the grueling marathon. And if you've got a name like Jocks, you can eat the bagels and lox, and you always know his game is on. Well, as a fan, you might have seen him. Some could be Hasidim. In each discipline, they make themselves at home. So in sports, let's not be skittish. Our athletes all say kiddish, and they're wishing us all a great shalom. There it is, the history.
You know, I was lucky. I grew up in L.A. When I was 9, Norm and Larry Sherry from Fairfax High School were on the Dodgers. They won the series. When I was 12, Sandy Koufax was the greatest pitcher in the world. And when I was 13, Jack Hirsch was the starting forward at UCLA. So I didn't know Jewish kids weren't supposed to be good.
I'm here now to introduce the greatest Jewish athletes, or athletes that happen to be Jewish. How do we phrase that? Good enough either way, but they're also great athletes who make us so proud. And our first one tonight is an inductee that we all know very well if you watch ESPN, and I certainly do. He began his career as a 16-year-old for Saddleback Valley News while attending El Toro High School. He has been 15 years at ESPN, really one of the great basketball reporters from 2002 to the present, covering the NBA Finals every year. He is also a contributor to ESPN SportsCenter, ESPN Radio. He's a terrific reporter, and he's our first honoree tonight. Say hello to Mark Stein, ladies and gentlemen.
First of all, it is surreal to be introduced by Roy. Watching up close, even before it was up close, was a big part of my journalistic upbringing. I vividly remember 1989, my first big NBA assignment, NBA Summer League. In those days, Summer League is not what it is today, and the veteran writers wouldn't even think of covering Summer League. So that opened the door for me to beg my bosses at the Orange County Register to let me do it. I'm 20, I'm scared, I'm intimidated, I'm running around the gym, I'm trying to get Mike Fratello to talk to me, it was a European invasion, Vlade Divac came over, Marcialona's come over, I go home, turn on the TV, and Alexander Volkov, who was a great Ukrainian player, is on Roy's show. Couldn't even speak English, but he was on your show. And that's when I learned, wow, when you have juice, the interviewees, they just come to you. And that's the way to do it. This is a tremendous honor. Southern California is home for me because of the way our business works. I had to leave in 1997, and I've been in Dallas for most of the last 20 years. It was an opportunity I had to take, couldn't pass it up. But trust me, whether it's El Toro High School, Cal State Fullerton, the 3 papers in Southern California I was fortunate enough to work for, the Orange County Register, San Bernardino Sun, LA Daily News, I take that with me wherever I go. And it's especially meaningful tonight because I'm here with Ramona Shelburne, my colleague from ESPN, who, colleague's really not the word, she's more like a sister. And it's, she also was at the LA Daily News, but after I was there, and she, of course, made it to ESPN. She's getting honored for her softball prowess tonight, and she was a great high school softball player, earned a scholarship to Stanford. I promise you, she's a better journalist than softball player, and she's a star, and it's an honor to work with her and be with her tonight. And we're both pinching ourselves to see some of those names that are in this club. Sandy Koufax, Mark Spitz from Orange County, from my neighborhood. Sean Green is a legend. David Blumenthal is a good friend who played at Maccabi Tel Aviv for many, many years. He goes by David Blue now. We actually got to do a Maccabi Tel Aviv broadcast together a couple years ago. Those who know me well know that tennis is my first love. There's some famous tennis players in this hall. Elliot Telcher, Brian Teacher, Brad Gilbert, another ESPN colleague. So it's really an incredible honor. And media-wise, there are a zillion people I could list, but we'd be here all night, and I don't want to keep everybody here because there's a lot of people who need to speak. But zillions of great media people are in this hall, and to join them is truly an honor. I just want to thank some of the people who are here with me tonight. My wife and kids had a combination of 8 youth soccer games and 1 basketball game, and she's the team manager, so they could not join me here. They're a little too busy. But my mother, Ruth Stein, is here. And my stepdad, Speedy, is here. My stepmom, Sylvia, is here. And this is truly amazing. My 2 favorite high school teachers are here from El Toro High School. Jim Shields was my sophomore English teacher, although even though I'm getting close to 50, I feel like I still need to call him Mr. Shields. And Mike Gallops was the journalism advisor at El Toro for many years. And he actually introduced me to Earl Bloom, a longtime NBA writer at the Register. Without that connection, I don't know if my career would have actually even gotten off the ground. That was a huge, huge connection for me and really got me started. Basically, the only thing missing, I'm really sad that my father is not here tonight, unfortunately. We lost him in 2014 on Father's Day during the NBA Finals. He was a Holocaust survivor. And just as important to me, he was the first sports fan I ever met, and I know he would have truly, truly, truly loved this night. And just last, I want to thank the Sonheimer brothers. Eric Sonheimer, humongous mentor to me at the LA Daily News. He and his brother Michael, I'm sure without them I would have never gotten this honor. Thanks so much to everyone who felt I was worthy of it, and congrats to all the other honorees. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Our next honoree is a 4-year UCLA men's water polo starter who finished collegiate career as both an NCAA champ and first-team All-American, college's best all-time defensive stopper, one of them anyway, known as a 2-meter defender, consistently guarding the other team's top scorers throughout his career. Excuse me again. At UCLA, played on an NCAA championship alongside his brother and now fellow Southern California Jewish Hall of Famer Sam Bailey. Say hello to Andy Bailey, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, I get to follow Mark Stein. That's awesome. I'm a firefighter paramedic that works in San Clemente. Public speaking is not my forte. I'm very honored to be here. Thank you so much for this honor. I'm here with my wife and my daughter, Riley, and my son, Pierce, and my mom and dad. And I obviously wouldn't be here without any of them, so thank you guys. I love you all. It's pretty special for me to be here with my kids. I stopped playing water polo at UCLA in 2000 and stopped doing any sort of competitive sports probably 5 or 6 years after that. So to be able to share this with my kids is very, very special. I want to thank Michael Sonheimer for making this happen. I know he pushes very hard to get the UCLA Bruins into the Jewish Sports Hall of Fame, so thank you very much. Other than that, just once again, thank you very much, and have a good night, you guys.
Andy Bailey, everybody.
Well, Michael Sonheimer is one of the driving forces behind this hall, and his brother Eric was one of my really most impactful mentors in journalism. When I worked at the LA Daily News, he was really the first guy who drove me to like break news and compete with the LA Times, and it's just a huge impact on my career. So I think with those guys in my corner is how this all happened.
Our third honoree I'm going to go down to because we're going to have a little better access, so we're going to do that. He is a Verdugo Hills High School gymnast whose horizontal bars specialty earned him a number 2 ranking in the entire city in his senior year. At Michigan State, he won NCAA titles in 1959 and 1960 in the horizontal bars. He captured the Big Ten championships in the horizontal bars in 58, 59, and 60. And led by this gentleman, Michigan State Gymnastics tied for the NCAA title some 60 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go walk over to say hello to Stan Tarshis. Oh, you're good. I'm going to hold the mic for you. Sure.
I'm going to sit down.
Sure.
First, I'd like to thank my late mother, Lillian Tarshis, who unknowingly and without joy or pleasure opened the door to my gymnastics career. In the early 1940s, my mother became asthmatic. We were residing in Hawthorne, which was very damp, and had to move to Sunland, Tahunga, where the climate was dry. In Hawthorne, there was no interscholastic gymnastics program. In the Valley, part of the LAUSD, there was a decades-old dynamic program in this sport. I did not know that at the time, but at 8 years of age, I was glad to be leaving Hawthorne, which was a hotbed of anti-Semitism. Both my sister and I were called Jew girl and Jew boy by the school's principal. In the motion picture Airplane, there is a scene where a flight attendant gives to a passenger a one-page book titled Famous Jewish Athletes, spoofing this myth. In my 53-year association with gymnastics, Jews were very well represented. In my senior year of high school at the LAUSD Gymnastics City Championship, in the floor exercise, 4 of the top 5 places were Jewish. A year earlier, I attended the National AAU meet as a spectator and noticed that on the rings event, the top performers had names like Marcus Gilden, George Wickler, Leonard Harris, and Mel Robin. I began to wonder if being Jewish was a requirement for that event. In college, my arch rival was A.B. Grossfeld. I would like to offer a public thanks to my college coach, George Sapula, who passed away a couple of years ago. I was not recruited out of high school. No one was interested in a one-event specialist who could barely touch his toes. I started out at Los Angeles City College, and after one semester, impulsively transferred to the University of Illinois without any financial aid. I was struggling financially, academically, and there's another word I can't read. I came close to giving up the sport and or starving to death. As fate would have it, Illinois hosted the Big Ten championships. In those days, freshmen did not compete. I was floating around the gym, wondering where my future was. I was approached by Coach Sapula, who said, "I heard you're from California." What followed was a 90-second conversation that changed my life forever. I'd like to thank my wife, Diana, for not objecting when I built a swimming pool in my backyard and put gymnastics apparatus over it and invited everyone to come over and share it with me. Cirque du Soleil didn't know that I had it first. I am delighted that I found an individual sport where you could practice alone, measuring improvement over days rather than over a season. Just learn a new stunt and you're better than you were yesterday. I'd like to thank those drivers that picked me up when I was cross-country hitchhiking to and from the Midwest in pursuit of a teenage fantasy. I'm thankful that I was born in 1937. I got into the sport when flexibility was helpful but not essential. Today, gymnasts have to be born to compete at a high level. Like ice skating, private clubs have replaced high schools, and the regimen starts before kindergarten. We had competitors with only one leg and other major handicaps. LAUSD no longer has this wonderful activity. Around 25 years ago, I came home from an evening's workout at a private club in Agoura. I told my wife, I met an 11-year-old who was better than me. Diana reminded me that I had continued this activity longer than most people and should be content. I told her, he's not better than I am now, he's better than I ever was. I have the satisfaction of knowing he burned out 2 years later. I would like to thank my friends and family for coming here tonight. I would like to thank the Hall of Fame for this special recognition. It is really icing on the cake. Today, Southern California Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. Tomorrow, Southern California Jewish Home for the Aged. Thank you.
At any point of your professional career, whether it's a major league player, World Series, it feels different when you're playing for Team Israel. And it's just because of our heritage and our upbringing. So, obviously I was doing my job, and we're doing the best we can to prepare the players. The feeling of accomplishment to qualify and hold the Jewish flag with the Mogen David, and I just broke down personally. My mom and dad were there in Brooklyn, and it was just a tremendous feeling to feel like we accomplished something for Israel.
Tell you a quick true story about our next honoree. In 1982, that's 35 years ago, I was working at Channel 2 here in Los Angeles. Anybody remember me at Channel 2? Oh, okay. Couple. I don't remember me at Channel. I was told that there's a young man who kicked, I said a 62, or was it 62, 3? What was it? 63-yard field goal in high school. 63, folks. Maybe it was 64. Was it 64? I don't know. We'll get that straight up in a second. 64-yard field goal in high school. Wow. And they sent me over there. I thought that was the end of the day for this guy. He's got a great story. He went on to star at USC. He was a big sports hero at SC, a game-winning champion. He also did my show a couple of times. He still has the tape, and he is our honoree tonight. I'm thrilled for him. Eric Aufhalter, everybody. Come on up, Eric.
Yep, first met Roy a while back. Eric Sonheimer also came and met me when I was 16 years old. Back then, didn't have a whole lot to say back in Oak Park. I don't know how many people got back there in the day, but it was cow pasture, literally. We were in trailers, and we had just moved to a new high school my junior year. And it happened my fourth game my junior year. I kicked a 64-yard field goal, breaking the NFL record, and that's how I got to meet Roy and Eric back at that time. My name is Affolter. Obviously, I didn't grow up a Stein or a Goldberg or a Schwartz. The local neighborhood boys didn't recognize me as a Jew at that time. My family's name is El Shameh. They came from what's Lebanon now. But either way, they ended up in Michigan back at the turn of the century. And during that time, if you were a Jew anywhere in the world, things weren't pleasant. And in America, what had happened is the family had to look at different things other than claiming their birthright and their homeland because of fear of literally death, as I'm sure some of the people who are living today knew that environment at the time. And I know that to be a fact because I have some family members who are almost 100 years old now, and they tell me the story. So being elected into the Jewish Hall of Fame is a big moment for me because it's the first opportunity as a sportsman to be recognized as a child of Tetragrammaton's light, and that's a Jew. And so I'm proud of that. This is my daughter here, and so it's important for my children to know what I believe. My wife is here with me tonight, Lindsay, standing over there. We got a new little baby with us who's only 90 days old right now. And so if you hear her screaming, that's us over there in the corner hiding. Lindsay is the love of my life. And today I like to spend most of my time talking about Yahweh and Tetragrammaton's light and how it's been an influence in my life. There would be no sports without that. I didn't recognize it at the time, but looking back at all the accomplishments that came my way, I grew up in an environment where as a white player in football at the wide receiver position, I was the lone wolf to say the least, but to be a Jew was absolutely the lone wolf. And in athletics, I look at the Jewish race as the greatest athletes of all time. And I can say that because of all the cities of antiquity, the Book of Kings, that Jerusalem still stands today. And it stands today, but back in the day, in King David's day and Solomon, they didn't play sports. They just fought to the death. And the best athletes won. It's just that simple. And today, athletics are one form of competition, but bankers are competition, and today the Jewish bankers hold down the world with the World Bank and the IMF. The Jews in Hollywood hold the reality of the world down. There's as many Jews in Los Angeles today as there are in Jerusalem today. There's as many Jews in America today as there are in Israel today. And the rest of the world really doesn't have Jews to speak of because they've been exterminated. So I think it's important that we recognize our race, and we are the best athletes, and we are the smartest, and we are the children of Yahweh, and that's the way it's always going to be. Thank you very much.
Take it with your daughter. Come on up. Come on up, honey. Okay. Here we go. 35 years later. Thanks, Eric. Fantastic. Eric Affolter, everybody. Our next honoree is a dominant water polo player. In high school, she led Harvard Westlake to its first CIF water polo title. Yay, Harvard Westlake. She won CIF MVP honors, was named a high school All-American. No stranger to our organization. She was selected as the Southern California Jewish Sports Female High School Athlete 5 or 6 years ago. She is Ashley Grossman, everybody. And she could not be here tonight, but she sent this video. Watch.
Hi, my name is Ashley Grossman, and I am accepting an award for the induction into the SoCal Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. I'm completely humbled and honored for this award. I really have always felt very special to be involved in the Jewish community. I feel like it helped me learn a lot of values and helped my upbringing, helped me learn how to manage my time by going to Hebrew school, how to be part of a community, how to have good values and good friendships, and put school and sports very high on my list. And I really want to say thank you to my parents and my friends, my teammates, everyone who's helped me get to my high level in water polo and in school. And again, I want to say I'm very honored and thank you very much.
Do we have any members of her family here that want to take the award? Do we have somebody that wants to accept Ashley's award? I do not know this. Yes? Yes, we do. Correct? Okay, please. Come on up. Nice round of applause, please.
Thank you. I'm Ashley's dad, Jerry Grossman, and Ashley went from Harvard Westlake off to Stanford. They won 3 national championships, NCAA championships. She graduated Stanford with a 3.75 approximately average, and she's working for the LA Kings right now. So she couldn't make it tonight, but thank you very much.
All right. This is the trophy. Nice hand again for Ashley Grossman. Our next honoree is a giant of a man, literally. He is 6'6", 340 pounds. He was named to the All-City First Team at Pali High Charter High School as both an offensive and defensive lineman. He was rated the top 75 prep prospects in California's 5th best offensive line recruit. Played his college football at Oregon, where he was a 3-year starting right tackle and second team All Pac-10 in 2007. Played in the NFL for the Panthers, Minnesota Vikings, Chiefs, and New York Giants, all of whom are not in the playoffs this year. But they did fight there for a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Jeff Schwartz.
Thank you to the Southern California Jewish Sports Hall of Fame for this tremendous honor. And thank you to Michael Levy for nominating us. My family is everything in my life, so I need to thank them real quickly. My wonderful, fantastic wife and our 2 children who are back in Charlotte, one sleeping here at my parents' house, who couldn't be here, obviously. Thank you, my parents, for all their support and paying the food bill for my brother and I when we were younger. Now that I'm a father, I understand that task, and I really do appreciate it. My brother, I'm so proud to be joining the Hall of Fame with you. You know how I feel about you, and our friendship means everything to me in the world. Thanks to all the friends and family that have come out tonight to support us. Judaism is always a part of my life. Being the only Jew in a locker room, I get constant questions from curious teammates about the religion, and even some jokes. Most I can't share tonight, but one I particularly enjoyed was a trainer who told me often I should be owning the team, not playing for one. I take pride in sharing my religion with my teammates and explaining how Judaism is always intertwined into my life. It's best described like this. My wife has told me that she admires, and I take pride in this as well, that I do the right thing even if it's not the most comfortable thing to do. This is part of my foundation and how I honor my religion. Now that I'm a parent, I'm excited to pass this on to my kids. One of the surprising benefits of not being on a roster this season was attending my son's preschool Friday Shabbat celebrations. Seeing him so excited to sing the Shabbat songs, hug the plush Torah, and say the Hamotzi makes me so proud. I look forward to continuing to use my platform to share our religion and be a role model in the community. Thank you again.
Thanks, Jeff. Congratulations. Jeff Schwartz, everybody.
Well, it's interesting. The president, Mitch Fenton, called me, and I was a little startled by it. I hear from him periodically. I actually was roommates with Mitch our sophomore year at San Diego State. So I've known him a long time, and he called and congratulated me. And I kind of had to, I paused because, most of my professional life and my media life has been in Atlanta with the Atlanta Braves and Turner Sports. But I did get the opportunity to spend 2 years out here working with and being the producer of the Dodgers and working with Vin. And it doesn't get any better than that.
Next honoree is a personal friend of mine who I've known for a better part of 35 years. Graduate of Grant High School right here in L.A., in the Valley. Yeah. With Mitch Gaylord, I might add, too, and Tom Selleck and some other people. Attended San Diego State. Found his calling in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where I first checked in with him when he did the Braves broadcast, a little startup network you might have heard called Turner Broadcasting. He was the senior coordinating producer for Turner Sports, and I'm going to embarrass him when I tell you he's one hell of a producer. He is one of the greats ever in this industry, but don't take my word for it. Take a colleague's word for it, this colleague.
When I think of Glenn Diamond, I think of the word preparation, and I'll tell you a pretty interesting story. In 2010, Glenn was the producer, Turner Broadcasting, was carrying the American League Championship Series between the Yankees and Texas. Game 4, bottom of the 6th inning, and the Yankees are winning 3-2, 2 out and a man on base. The batter coming up is an outfielder named David Murphy, and Joe Girardi walks Murphy intentionally to pitch to Bengie Molina. As Molina is waiting to have his turn at bat, wham! Glenn comes up with 3 quick tapes of Bengie Molina hitting 3 home runs against the Yankees when he was an Angel, and the Angel played the Yankees in 2005. That meant that Glenn had prepared that package just in case. Well, it took him 5 days before that game to get it ready. Now they walk Murphy. Here comes Molina. We now know that he's hit 3 home runs 5 years earlier. First pitch by A.J. Burnett, home run. And Molina goes around the bases. He gets all the cheers. But those of us in the business say Glenn Diamond just hit a grand slam home run. And that, to me, sums him up. Knowledgeable, insightful, understanding the games, whatever sport it might be, and then, of course, the preparation. What was it John Wooden said? Something to the effect, if you fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Well, that's the other way around. That's why Glenn Diamond deserves to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Glenn Diamond. Come on up, Glenn. Told you. I told him it was a big surprise tonight. Here you go, Glenn. You need a microphone. You know that, don't you?
Yes, I do. The press secretary from the White House, Josh Earnest, recently, when he called Vin to tell him about the Presidential Medal of Freedom, he ended that conversation and looked in the camera and said, "How cool was that? How cool was that?" I have to catch my breath. To have, working with Vin was truly, truly one of the great honors for anybody, but for me, growing up here in LA, it was just tremendous. I am extremely humbled and excited by this great honor. And this is a great opportunity tonight, and everybody's talking about this award, but what it's been able to do for me is bring together friends and family, and I have 2 full tables here tonight of folks. You know, usually we only bring together folks for bar mitzvah, wedding, and sadly sometimes funerals, and you don't get to bring people together to enjoy such a great honor. And for me tonight to have these folks here celebrating this great time for me is truly, truly a highlight. I just want to point out a couple of things. My brothers, Jeffrey and Russell, are here, and we come from a divided home. And when I say divided, they are Trojan fans. And I'm still not over that. So I want to thank 2 people here tonight, my cousin Brad Snyder, and who we called our 4th brother, Mike Farmer. Thank you for letting me enjoy all the moments with the UCLA Bruins, because that's what it's about, the UCLA Bruins. My early days at Riverside Drive Elementary, Milliken Junior High School, Grant High School. I have 2 very special people here in the audience tonight. My best friend growing up, Art Simon, who had to get out of, he's recovering from a little surgery, and he came here tonight, and Jill Weintraub. I love you both, and thank you. Spent my college years at San Diego State. My Canadian friend, Dave Dawkins, is here, traveled here to enjoy this, and another great person that a lot of you in this room know, a friend, a big friend from my college days, your president, and Mr. Lacrosse, Mitch Fenton. Even though most of my adult life and professional life has been spent in Atlanta, my connection to the Southern California sports scene continues to be a very, very important part of my life. Yes, I was one of those people who had the transistor radio up against his ear all the time, listening to Vin Scully, listening to Chick Hearn, listening to, some of you may remember, Jiggs McDonald, and of course, Bob Miller. Life really came full circle for me when I had the opportunity to come back to LA and work the Dodger telecast with Vin Scully. It just doesn't get any better than that, working with Vin. And it allowed me, in my second time around here in LA, to meet and spend time with some very special people who are here tonight. Sherry Hoffman, Bill Whipple, and the guy who had to really put up with me, Jeff Slott, who took me in for 2 years here in Los Angeles. Though folks in the media mostly know me for my work around the baseball diamond, those who know me well know that really my first love is the LA Kings. Yes, the LA Kings. And I learned something from the LA Kings. You never say never, because I never, ever thought they would win a Stanley Cup. And not only did they win 1, they won 2. How great is that? And I want to give a shout out tonight to former inductee who was inducted in your last ceremony, who was working tonight, Helene Elliott, who had something to do with me being up here tonight. And I really, really do appreciate that. In closing, as we celebrate here tonight, I remember back to July 17th, 1971. And you say, why do you remember that? Just a few miles from here, I became a bar mitzvah. And I remember standing up in front of a great group of people, but most of all, I remember my grandma Frances and my parents sitting in the front row, watching and listening to every word, and as I did my Torah portion. And I'm sure they were hoping I just didn't screw up. And finally, the most important person in my life that I've shared the second half in my adult life with, my wife Nancy, who has traveled with me here from Atlanta. 33 plus years of marriage, 2 wonderful daughters, countless days, as we all know, in the media. They have to be by themselves and single parents. And she was a great, great mom to our two wonderful daughters, Ashley and Jessica. And now we go to the next phase of our life. We have our first grandchild, who is now 15 months old, and there's no bigger blessing than that. So I just want to say I have lived a great, great life. I appreciate not only the sports end of it, but the Jewish part of it. And I want to give my sincere appreciation to the Southern California Jewish Hall of Fame. And thank you so much for bringing my family and my friends back together for this joyous occasion, because there's nothing better than that. And in closing, being from Atlanta, I want to say, go Falcons. Rise up.
Glenn Diamond, everybody. Our next honoree is from the swimming world. She set 4 LA City records while at Venice High School. She won city titles in the 50-meter and the 100-meter freestyle, qualified for the 2008 Olympic trials as a high school student, selected as Southern California's Jewish Sports Hall of Fame Female Athlete of the Year in the past herself. She won 5 gold and 4 silver medals at the 2009 Maccabiah Games in Israel. She set 5 records, including the 50, 100, and 200 freestyle events. Say hello to Andy Miraz, ladies and gentlemen. Andy.
I'm honored to be here tonight and to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Thank you to everyone who has helped me get this far, especially thanks to my parents and to my grandma Erica. Thanks for coming. Swimming has been such an important part of my life over the years and has given me so many amazing opportunities. From club swimming at Team Santa Monica to the Maccabiah Games to Stanford University and now living in Israel, I've been part of some amazing teams. I would have never moved to Israel if it weren't for the Maccabiah Games, and I wouldn't have met so many amazing Jewish athletes from all over the world. I had spent all of my life in California until I had moved to Israel. The change really challenged me and introduced me to so many new things. I achieved a lifetime dream of competing in the Olympics this past summer in Rio. My second lifetime dream has also become a reality while in Israel. I have been accepted just last week to medical school there. Although it will be difficult to balance, I plan to start medical school in the fall and keep my sights on Tokyo. Again, I want to thank everyone who has supported me along the way, because I wouldn't be here without you.
Okay, well, you're speaking about mentors. This guy here is one of my greatest mentors in this business. I remember when I started at ESPN LA, I was sort of lost and I didn't know what to do, and I would get information and I had no idea what to do with it, and I would always just call Mark Stein and say, Mark, so Kobe told me this, or Jeannie Buss told me that, and he would say, well, you got to write a news story on that. You got to do that, and he would always help me figure out what to do with it. And now, how many times do I call you? Like 3 times a week?
A lot.
Or
But I like being the old guy now. I started covering the NBA when I was 24, so for a long time I was the young guy. I like being the old head now.
We have a saying at ESPN, it's like if you don't know what you should do, it's like, what would Stein do?
I did not mention, and I want to, tonight we are honored to have in our presence the daughter of the legendary John Wooden. Nan is here tonight. Where is Nan? Is she? I saw her before. Stand up, Nan, please, if you can. Wonderful person, the light of Coach's life. And I know that Nan wouldn't miss this night for the world because we're representing tonight somebody that is very near and dear to you and somebody who is very, very near and dear to Coach, your dad. That is our next honoree. He, in his senior year at Uni High, averaged almost 28 points a game, Western League's most valuable player, a scholarship member of 3 UCLA championship teams, playing for Coach Wooden. In 1969, co-freshman MVP with Henry Bibby. He played on 3 of the all-time great NCAA championship teams from 1970 to 72. He is an author. He is a motivational speaker. He is a former CBS programmer. He's one of the key members of the development of CBS sports programming. He's got a book out called Be Quick But Don't Hurry, Finding Success in the Teachings of a Lifetime. And he's a terrific guy. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Andy Hill.
Thank you. Wow, I can promise you if the Hall knew I was going to bring 65 people, they would have inducted me years ago. First, I do want to thank the Hall of Fame. This is really a thrill for me, quite frankly. Unexpected and really wonderful. I also want to congratulate my fellow honorees, particularly the Schwartz family. To be here with Lee and Livy and Jeff and Mitchell is really a kick. We have shared a lot of adventures along the way, so to be here tonight with all of you is really cool. I grew up a Jewish kid in West L.A. I was bar mitzvahed at Sinai Temple, and I love sports, kind of like my grandson Zachy. And I was very fortunate growing up in L.A. You know, when I was 9 years old, the Dodgers won the pennant. And they won a pennant because they had a couple kids from Fairfax High School, Norm and Larry Sherry. And then when I was 11, 12, Dodgers had a guy named Sandy Koufax, the greatest pitcher I've ever seen. And when I was 13, the UCLA Bruins, they had a guy named Jack Hirsch. And so I thought, hey, Jewish guy, you could be an athlete. Well, what did I know? But the fact is, it opened up a world of sports and basketball that has completely changed my life. And for that, I am deeply grateful. First of all, it introduced me to my beautiful wife, Janice. She was a cheerleader at Uni High, and thank God she came up and said hi. That was almost 50 years ago, honey. Hard to believe. And more importantly, it exposed me to some of the great teachers a guy could ever hope to have. Courtney Borio, my high school coach at Uni High. Gary Cunningham, my freshman coach. Last guy who let me shoot, so I miss him. And, of course, Coach Wooden, who was nice enough to practice in life his pyramid of success and showed unbelievable patience and faith in me. I didn't speak to Coach for 25 years after I graduated. And, boy, when I called, he sure had an open heart and was anxious to see me. And those last 14 years we had together, they were really special. He was a teacher, a mentor, a friend. And that process of playing basketball introduced me to guys like Mike and Jamal and Henry, who said he couldn't be here because I'm sure he had a girl to chase, and Lucius, who had a team to coach, and my buddy Bill, who's up in Boulder. But the fact of the matter is, we're all guys from different places and backgrounds, from Indiana and Santa Barbara and North Carolina, and on the surface, we couldn't be more different. But because we had a chance to go through some really interesting life experiences together, what we found is, in fact, that the things on the surface that everybody sees and you think we're kind of different don't really mean much of anything. That, in fact, our dreams, our hopes, our goals, and our values are all so deep and so real. And I think it's important to note that in sports, it's a great opportunity that we have to find out that those surface things that make us seem different, and which right now seem to be things that build walls between us, are a huge mistake. That in fact, it is the bridge to understanding and friendship that sports brought to me that this world needs more of. So I am eternally grateful for that. I'd also like to take just a second to publicly thank Nan Wooden. Nan, you shared your dad with us, and I know it wasn't always easy. We took a lot of his time. But boy, I do know, for me and Mike and Jamal and all of us, we're still trying to bring him into the world. And it's really nice to have you here tonight. Thank you. And I just want to say thanks to all my family and friends who turned out for this. It's mind-boggling to me how many of you came, and so thank you so much. You know, sometimes in life you wonder what your real value may be, and when I look around at the people that I know I can call my friends, people that I love and care for deeply, that they are all special and accomplished and people that I value greatly. And at the end of the day, the greatest part about being here tonight is to share it with Izzy and Zach, my granddaughter and my grandson. Having grandkids is the greatest thing in the world. And, you know, fortunately, I got a message really early on to follow my dream, a crazy dream, to play basketball. It didn't always work out the way I wanted to, but like Coach would always tell us, it worked out just the way it was meant to. And I guess tonight is a great conclusion. So thank you very much. God bless.
Andy Hill, everybody. Our next honoree, we're just down to the last four, and thank you. Hope you've enjoyed this tonight. I've been really entertained by a lot of these wonderful people and their stories. This is a gentleman who has changed the lives of young people because he has been a coach at Campbell Hall in North Hollywood for 34 years, and a hell of a coach. Coached 6 CIF team championships, girls tennis. 3 of the teams went unbeaten. He was named Coach of the Year by the California Coaches Association, selected in 2010 as the Girls Tennis Coach of the Decade by the Daily News. 5 of his players made high school All-American. 3 players won 2 times in a row. And this is a very special honor tonight because his father was a Holocaust survivor as well. Please say hello to Stephen Kushel, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Growing up, I've been a big sports fan, and I used to watch Roy Firestone all the time. I was talking to my brother the other day. I go, I can't believe Roy Firestone is actually going to introduce me. So it's a big honor for you to introduce me. I used to watch Up and Personal all the time, and I still can't believe I'm here. Thank you so much. Good evening. I stand here before you both humbled and grateful. I'm very excited and honored to be inducted tonight in the Southern California Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever expect this to ever happen in my life. I want to thank the committee, especially Mitch and Vicki, and everyone involved with the Southern California Jewish Sports Hall of Fame for this incredible honor. I want to thank my brother Kevin, who's always been there for me, and for nominating me to the Jewish Sports Hall of Fame and getting this started to get me into the Hall of Fame. Thank you so much. I love you so much. I want to thank both of my parents, Alexander and Lilo, who are both Holocaust survivors. My mom lived on a farm with false papers so she would not be caught being Jewish. My dad, a young boy surviving through several concentration camps until he was liberated. My dad went through so much, and I don't know how he did it. My dad lectures from time to time in Las Vegas at high schools and junior high schools to talk about the Holocaust and his experience. He's a pretty amazing man. My parents were both great role models for me growing up. Family is very, very important to me. My brother and I are very lucky that they're still around. Both my parents are alive, thank God. They're older now. They live in Vegas. They really wanted to be here today, but they couldn't come. I want to dedicate this award to my parents. They would be very proud to accept this award. I am very blessed to have been a high school coach at Campbell Hall for over 32 years. Roy said I won 6 championships. I hate to say it. I just won my 7th one a month ago, so it's pretty cool. I want to thank everyone at Campbell Hall for all their support. They were like a second family to me. A couple of people couldn't come today, but they texted me and said they really appreciate all the work I've done, and they're very proud of me. I especially want to thank 2 people. One person is here today, our headmaster, Julian Bull, and our athletic, Juan Velasquez, director Juan Velasquez, who's here. They both always believed in me, my tennis program, my vision, my coaching, and most important to me, they always supported me no matter what. It means so much to have both of their support. Lastly, I want to thank all the girls who ever played for me at Campbell Hall. Without your incredible talent, I would have never been in a position to have won 7 CIF championships. It's been an incredible journey. I also want to thank all the people who got nominated today, and especially want to thank David, Juan, my brother, John, and other people who showed up for me today. I really appreciate your support. Thank you again to the committee. Have a great night. Thank you so much.
Nice hand for Steve. Our next honoree was a left-handed pitcher, went on to a terrific career, first at New Halls Hart High School, drafted out of New York by the Mets, out of high school by the Mets in 1990. A left-handed pitcher went to Stanford, all-conference Pac-10, drafted in the 4th round by the Angels. This is an amazing stat. He has played for 40 teams over his playing career in the majors and the minors, with a 6-year Major League professional career, both as a starter and reliever, with the Angels and the White Sox and the A's, the Mariners, Cubs, Cleveland, and Milwaukee Brewers. He is still in baseball, the scouting department for the Pirates, entering his 17th year. Please welcome Andrew Lorraine.
First, I want to thank the Southern California Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. What an honor to be here. Mitch and Vicki and everyone involved in the committee, thank you for having me here. And I can't even explain from my heart, how tremendously humble I am to be here. I grew up in Valencia, Hart High School. Basically, my parents enrolled me in local youth baseball, and that's what I did. I was a kid, I played baseball. I didn't think about, where it would lead me in life. I was a Jewish left-handed pitcher, so of course, naturally, Sandy Koufax came to mind, and that was the only really, Jewish pitching role model you could have as a kid. A few years later, probably 20 years later, I was playing for the Cubs. I heard a great story. I'll share it. Sandy Koufax story. It was Ron Santo, the late Ron Santo, was telling a story how they were playing the Dodgers, and they figured out that when Sandy was in the stretch, they could see his curveball. They knew by the way he held his glove, the curveball was coming. So they had his pitches. They were so excited. When they came back to town, they were going to play the Dodgers, or they were coming to L.A., play the Dodgers. They had all his pitches. They had his curveball from the stretch. Problem was he threw a perfect game, so no one got on base. And by the time they played him again, he had it all figured out that, he was giving his pitches away, so they never got a chance to take advantage of of that of that knowledge. But really, as a kid, there weren't a whole lot of Jewish role models in sports that I was aware of. And seeing this board out in front and seeing all the names, it's just amazing to see kind of the list, and to be honored, is tremendous. Got Roy Firestone, and I grew up watching Roy Firestone on Sportslook. Do I get Bushnell glasses, the binoculars? I remember that from the Sportslook, right? Okay. No, but really, thank you all for coming out. It's a great honor. I'm working with the World Baseball Classic team for Israel now. We're going to Korea next month for the World Baseball Classic for Team Israel as the pitching coach. As a player, that wasn't an option for me to play for Team Israel, but to wear the uniform of Israel and, even on the coaching on the sidelines is a tremendous honor. We qualified for the tournament back in September of last year in Brooklyn, and just to hold that, Israeli flag and wear that uniform. My mom was there and Dad, and it was an amazing emotional moment for me. And to go to Korea next month, hopefully you all can follow us, and we can make a good showing for us. There's a lot of Jewish ball players out there, a lot of them from this area in Los Angeles. We have a whole team of Jewish ball players, a few from Israel, but most of them are American Jews that play under the citizenship eligibility. But to have an entire team of Jewish ball players on the field is just an incredible feeling to be a part of. So hopefully, we have a good showing there. I want to thank a few people that have been a part of my life, all my coaches, my wife, Missy, and my son, Mason, couldn't be here tonight. My son's at home in Arizona, with his hockey team. He's a hockey player. I tried baseball, but didn't really stick with him too much. But they have obligations there, so they couldn't be here. But, it's a big sacrifice to be, with someone involved in sports, as everyone knows here that's aware of that. But I was gone a lot. I was leaving different places, like Roy said, 40 teams, different countries, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, United States, Canada, Mexico, Taiwan, Italy, Japan, you name it. I've been there and I played it, and I'm still involved in that. I've been really fortunate as a baseball professional to, get involved in coaching when my career was over as a player. Now I'm involved in scouting, looking forward to that next chapter in my life. My parents, they're here today, Marlene and Mike. Thank you for everything. I wouldn't have been involved in baseball if it wasn't for you guys. I never would have been signed up to play. They were the kind of parents that were just the proud parents in the background. They supported me. They were up at Stanford every weekend, driving up from LA to see me play. They drove up there every weekend to watch. I didn't pitch the first year or two I was there, and they just drove up there to be there and watch. We played out in Tucson or we played in Tempe. They drove out there. And, they've been there every step of the way, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Angela Rain.
Got to ask, how did the Mensch on the bench take its official or unofficial spot as the team's mascot?
Well, if you've ever talked to Cody Decker, who's the mastermind behind all that, he's a character. He's just a tremendous person, but he also creates a lot of camaraderie just in his actions, and he brought it with him, and it was just a bonding moment, for all of us. And heck, the Mensch on the bench is going to Korea. He's going to be there, and if anyone wasn't aware of it, just if you go on the Israeli World Baseball Classic page on Facebook, there's all kinds of pictures, and it's just a great experience. The outpouring of support in Brooklyn was tremendous. I hope people, some people don't know about it, and I know as a baseball fan, there's so many Jewish baseball fans out there that if they were aware of what we're doing, hopefully they can tune in when we're playing in Korea. A couple games are on, in the evening here. A couple games are on in the morning here. So, but yeah, as far as that goes, we have a great, support, and this is one thing that kind of added to it.
down to our final three honorees. This is the other half of the Schwartz family that was an unbelievable athlete, still is. Football, basketball, baseball at Palisades Charter High School. Outstanding career at Cal, started 51 games over 4 years. First team All Pac-12 as a senior. The Cleveland Browns selected him at 6'5", 320 pounds in the second round of the 2012 NFL Draft. He is, rookies, as you may know, are given an intelligent test at the NFL Combine. This is called the Wonderlic Cognitive Ability Test. This gentleman scored a 35. The average NFL player score is about 20. So he's a smart dude, and he's also a good dude, and we're very honored to honor him tonight. Here's Mitchell Schwartz, everybody.
All right, it's a couple hours past Jeff's bedtime, so I'll keep this short. Thanks to the Hall of Fame. It's a great honor. Great to be here and receive this award. Thanks to my family that's here. Brooke, it's been the best couple years of my life the last couple years. Thanks to my parents for doing such a great job of raising both of us, and obviously we've had some success, so a lot of that goes to you guys. I think the coolest part of this journey has been going to schools, Jewish schools especially, and seeing the entire school just get really excited when you show up, and it's something I kind of took for granted earlier in my career, and it's something that I've been trying to get into more, and just realizing the impact that you have on kids' lives, and they really do look up to you, and it's just something that you're trying to take for granted. So thank you to everybody, and have a good night.
All right. Nice family, very nice. This is an amazing story, not just in sports, but in academics too. First of all, the sports, one of the top softball players in LA City School history, won All-City honor all 4 years at El Camino, voted LA City Player of the Year, led her high school to 3 city titles, but far more significantly, I think, is the academics. She was class valedictorian, student body president, and National Merit Scholarship finalist. Talk about a Jewish cup, right? Just an incredible story. Also, 4-time academic All-American at Stanford, majored in American Studies, master's degree in communications, and she is just a terrific reporter and broadcaster. I'm honored to introduce her tonight. You all know her very well from her ESPN radio and TV appearances. Please say hello to Ramona Shelburne.
Roy Firestone, you are not going to make me cry, right? Nobody cried tonight with Roy introducing them? First of all, I'm so impressed by the Bruins here. How many UCLA Bruins are out there? And how many of us who are getting honored tonight are Stanford cards? Stanford Cardinal here? Andrew, right back over there. Look, one of the things I want to talk about tonight was really just seeing. I brought my family here, and I know all of you guys brought your family and friends. And it's I was thinking about what I wanted to say and how touching it is to see everyone here. But I have a confession to make first, right? When I was going through my bat mitzvah training, go to Hebrew school, right, and going through everything, you learn how to say everything. It's mostly kind of like an hour of clearing your throat, right? Ha ha he go. Right? And I was like, Mom, do not make me go. I hate this. I hate this so much. Don't make me go to this anymore, right? And she's like, Ramona, one day, I promise you, you will never believe me, but one day you are going to be so glad you did this, and then you are going to make your kids do it too. Okay? Being Jewish is like a time release capsule. Like, you do all this stuff when you're a kid, you sit in temple, you count the bricks on the wall, right? It's a little boring sometimes when you're a kid, and then one day you grow up, and all these things start happening to you. I was in Oklahoma City a couple years ago. I was doing a story on the Oklahoma City Thunder. was during the High Holy Days. And I was a little bummed about it. I was like, am I going to miss the High Holy Days? Like, I'm here, I don't have a temple, I don't know what to do. And I was telling the general manager of the Thunder about it, Sam Presti, and he goes, are you okay with that? And I was like, yeah, I feel kind of guilty, I feel kind of sad, but it's my job, I got to have a story to do. And later on that night, he texted me, he goes, I talked to some of the people in our organization, and here's the name of a congregation if you want to go. Here's the name of a synagogue. This is where they go. And I was like, what am I going to do? Just like show up at this place in Oklahoma City? Like, do I have to pay for this? And I said, thanks, Sam. That's really nice of you. And you know what, though? It was about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. The evening service was happening. And I was like, I kind of want to go to temple. I kind of want to go. And I did. And I just I broke in the back door or something. They'd already started. And I just sat in the back. And I was like, my mom was right. It's like a time release capsule. You feel it and you appreciate it so much more. And a night like tonight, when my family's here and everybody's here, it just makes me appreciate it. So everybody, first of all, give it up for my family over there. My husband, my mother-in-law, my brother, my sister, my aunt, my uncle, my parents, my aunt. And give it up for your families. Everybody who came out here, give it up, come on. Everybody showed up for you. This is one of my favorite things about being Jewish is how much we support each other. And I wasn't going to get political. I know nobody else. Everybody was feeling like that. But one of the things, I don't know, I've been on my phone all night, too, seeing everything that's happening in our country and being here at the Skirball Center. One of the things about being Jewish, we stand up for each other, but we never forget. And some of the things that are happening right now, just in our country, it's not just about standing up for Jews. It's about saying, never forget, they may not be coming for us right now, but they're coming for people in our country right now. So anyway, thank you so much to everyone who's here. Thank you so much to Eric Sondheimer, Michael Sondheimer, Randy Rosenblum. Where's Randy? Are you out here, Randy? Randy Rosenblum, the guy who gave me my first paying gig. How much was it? Was it like $25, $50? Yeah, it was 50 maybe. But Randy Rosenblum gave me my first paying gig. Thank you so much. Mark Stein, are you still here? Hey. Mark Stein, one of my original mentors in this business, still one of my best friends and my older brother. And thank you to Roy for introducing us here and keeping this thing moving along. Thanks for everyone for showing up tonight.
I spend a lot of time in Israel, too. So for Caspi, Gal Meckel are the only two Israeli players to make the NBA. So anytime Israel and the NBA intersect, you can be pretty sure that I will be chronicling it.
He may be underselling this. When Mark Stein goes to Israel, I don't know if you know how big of a celebrity he is there, but the Israeli journalists meet him at the airport and pick him up and take him down to the television station.
Exaggerate.
Mark Stein, can you come on our station? Can you talk about the NBA? That's how big he is in Israel. My Israeli relatives just want to know why the Cavs fired David Blatt.
She's the real star, believe me.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging in there. I know it's been a long evening, but it's been a wonderful evening. I hope you'll agree with me that it is a wonderful evening for us. And our final honoree tonight, last but certainly not least, is getting a Lifetime Achievement Award. It's the Eli Sherman Pillar of Achievement. He was elected as the recipient of the Pillar of Achievement, named in honor of our organization's founder. Grew up in Northridge, graduated Cal State Northridge in '89. Got his start as an intern at Prime Ticket. Remember them? 1988. Local packager of local and national sports production programming since 1998. Been in the sports production business for over 25 years, working as both a producer and director of major sports broadcasts. 3-time Emmy winner for the Laker broadcast. President, CEO of J-Dub Productions. Produced numerous local college sports as well as Angel Baseball, Laker Baseball, AVP Volleyball. We could talk about this all night long, but he is a tremendously deserving recipient of the Eli Sherman Pillar of Achievement. Please welcome Jerry Weinstein, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Jerry.
Wow. The pillar. Who knew? Got a little speech here. So I grew up in the San Fernando Valley in the 70s, and three things were pretty prominent in my life. First one was being Jewish. Went to Hebrew school, got a bar mitzvah, went to Jewish camp. The second one was my obsession with sports. I love sports. I watched sports. I played sports. I collected baseball cards. Sports was my obsession. Third was I was the biggest fan of the local teams ever, and I still am. The Lakers, Rams, Dodgers, and Kings. I'm still a huge diehard fan of those teams. So it's pretty fitting it's all come crashing together tonight. When I was at Cal State Northridge, I remember going to a career day seminar. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was like, what am I going to do when I graduate? The guy said at the seminar, get an internship. That's the best thing you can do. And that's what I did. I got an internship at Prime Ticket, and it was really growing. It was just getting started. They were covering all the local teams, and I was able to climb the ladder pretty quickly. I was producing by the age of 27, and I've been working in sports my whole career, and it's been pretty amazing. It's a dream come true, literally. I don't consider my job a real job. Every day I go there, and it's just amazing, like the friends that I've made and the fun that I've had doing all these games. And I want to talk about two games in particular that I've been part of. They both involve the same guy, Kobe Bryant. I produced the Lakers game on January 22nd, 2006. That was the night that Kobe scored the second most points of all time. Being part of the 81-point game, I'll never forget it. It was one of the most amazing games I've ever done. But I got to say, this year on April 13th, 2016, it was blown out of the water. I got to direct Kobe's last game ever, a 60-point masterpiece where he scored 15 points down the stretch in dramatic fashion, then said goodbye to his fans, dropped the mic, Mamba out. What a way to end a career, and I still get chills watching the replay of that game. And anyone who was at that game feels the same way that I do. But what made it so special, and this is pretty tough to do in our business, is we had the perfect show. Every camera cut, every replay, every graphic was spot on. Honestly, every member of the crew was so focused that night. I will never forget it. From start to finish, it was a night I'll never forget. It was truly amazing. I was really excited to get the email that I was inducted into the HOF. This is a great honor. It means a lot to being recognized, in sports and as a Jew. And I'd like to thank everyone who put this event together. Mike Sondheimer, Sandy, for nominating me. Thank you. Randy, Vicky, Mitch, appreciate all that you've done for this event. I'd like to thank Geddy Lee for being the most talented Jew of all time and making my life better every day. I'd like to thank my friends and family that are here tonight, specifically Jason and Jody Rubel. Jason and I have been friends since the 7th grade and junior high and high school. I miss singing songs on the way up to the condo and boogie boarding with you. Those were amazing times. I miss getting in trouble in the clubhouse. Give me the soap. But seriously, to this day, you're an amazing friend. Scotty and Jason Meyer, my Pinot brothers, my friends from Camp Ramah, my Kings buddies. The reason why we're still great friends is our love for the Kings. We go to the games together. We used to go to the games and get the $5 student seats and sneak down. And I'll never forget listening to the Miracle on Manchester with you guys in the car. That was like one of the greatest moments of my life. The Stillmans, Thank you for coming, Michael and Wendy. We met through our kids and our families travel together, and now we're friends for life. Michael's claim to fame is he's the only non-media member to be at all 3 Stanley Cup raising games in Southern California, at least that he knows about. He's very proud of that. Stay healthy, my friend. My mom, thanks for instilling my Jewish morals that helped me become a good person, a good dad, a successful businessman. Sorry for all the grief I caused you and Dad in my younger days. I was a little bit on the rebellious side. My brother and Cheryl. Dude. What can I say? I love watching sports with you growing up. I remember running around the living room celebrating when Billy Waddy got the touchdown from Vince Ferragamo and the Rams beat the Cowboys in the playoffs. I remember watching Flipper Anderson score in OT at Marie Callender's with you and all my friends. But our biggest love is Kings hockey. We watch every Kings game together through texting. When the Kings score a goal, we just type the name of the player that scored. When the other team scores, my brother always types game over. It's a bond we have, but it seems silly, but it's fun. My wife, Sherry, didn't want to forget her. She hasn't let me live it down since 2005 when I forgot to thank her at the Emmys. Mama, thanks for your support. I wouldn't be what I am today without you. You always compliment me, and that makes me feel good. We make a good team, and I love going to games with you and Cookie. Lastly, I want to thank 2 people that are not here tonight. My son, Jordan. What an amazing kid. He followed in my footsteps to Camp Ramah. He's not nearly as much of a sports fan as I am, but he loves the Kings. We got to see 2 Stanley Cup clinching games that we can share the memory the rest of our lives. I tried to get him into the Rams. I bought season tickets. After going to a couple games, I said, hey, you want to go to the Rams game Sunday? He said, Dad, you think the Rams will score a touchdown? I was like, I'm not sure. He's like, nah, I'll pass. Pretty sad, but hopefully the new coaching staff will turn the goats around. Lastly, I got to thank my dad. My dad would be so proud. What a great guy. I think of him every day. His influence on me was incredible. He really let me figure out my mistakes for myself. He's always there to support me and pick me up. I really admire that and wish he was here tonight to celebrate us with us. Thanks to everyone for this great honor. I really appreciate it, and I think this is appropriate for the occasion. Simen tafu, mazel tafu, mazel tafu, simen tafu, mazel tafu, mazel tafu, simen tafu, mazel tafu, mazel tafu, simen tafu, hey, hey.
Well, this has been a great evening. I'm honored to have been the host tonight, and I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you. We want to congratulate all of our honorees, the men and women who were here tonight, and those who couldn't be here for either fate reasons or just happened to be the way it is. But it's truly a great honor to be here tonight. And I want to thank everybody for having me be the host. Mitch, thank you for being here and bringing me in. And good night, everybody. Hope you had a great time. We'll see you next year. Bye-bye.